Welcome back. Today is the 70th anniversary of one of the most consequential Supreme Court decisions in history. Brown versus Board of Education declared segregation in public schools unconstitutional and led to the integration of those schools.
If you want a way to observe today's anniversary, you can go to a church right here in Buffalo that's named after two men who played key roles in the eventual decision. In the shadow of Larkinville sits the Delane-wearing African Methodist Episcopal Church. Reverend Earl Perrin says a step inside his church is a step back in history when most of society was segregated between races, including schools.
We couldn't even sit in the same school with a white child.
Reverend Joseph Delane, a pastor in Clarendon County, South Carolina, decided to get involved with a lawsuit challenging the status quo, Briggs versus Elliott.
He thought this school case needed to be heard.
They lost, but not without a scathing dissent by appeals court judge Julius Wadis Waring, who wrote segregation was an evil that must be eradicated.
They used that as the catalyst for Brown versus Topeka Board of Education.
Once that decision came down, Delane and Waring paid a price for their roles. There were murder attempts. When Delane's church was burned down, he and his family left South Carolina.
He goes to New York City and this starts a church here in Buffalo, New York.
Others from the South followed, including Judge Waring.
He became very good friends with Reverend Joseph Delane because he applauded the fact that he stood up for the right thing.
A friendship that is immortalized by the name of this church in a city that was once a final stop on the Underground Railroad and which has welcomed immigrants since the days of the Erie Canal.
This was a place where people have been fighting for years for the right things.
A fight, Reverend Perrin says, continues 70 years after the Supreme Court decided people like Joseph Delane and Julius Waring had it right.
And I'm not saying Buffalo is not racist. Please don't get me. But there are a lot of good people, and we can get misrepresented by the racist ones. So I will not stand up in here and tell you we can't get better. We can always get better. But we've come we're better now.
The Delane-Waring AME Church is hosting a celebration of today's anniversary from 2 to 6 p.m. Members of the legal community and civil rights scholars will speak about the church's connection to Brown versus Board of Education. Also speaking today, Joseph Delane Jr., the 91-year-old son of Reverend Delane. The church is at 680 Swan Street. The event is free and open to the public.